Snowboard men would like to have the women in 7 super tournaments from the year 2000. We're back to the clay court phase of the match. Tommy Haas, I understand, has gone up a set against Jason Stoltenberg. And talking of the women, Conchita Martinez has beaten young Anna Kournikova 4-4. At 2 of the other major tournaments, the Italian Open and the German Open, the women do also play, but they play the week before. You have the first week on the courts, and then the men come along for the second. And there are plenty of courts in Monte Carlo to have a mixed tournament. Where we might struggle a little bit is in the indoor season, the big tournaments in Stuttgart and Paris.
I don't have them chatting, it's not a word they commonly use.
Fourth ace. Obviously it doesn't qualify as an audible obscenity anymore, and certainly not in Lars Graf's book. One of my most extraordinary experiences at Wimbledon that when I was umpiring, was asked to summon umpire Alan Mills and to dispute whether a particular word was obscene or not. And I won't repeat it because it was, and he agreed.
He'd heard.
There was no dispute about the player saying that he'd used the word.
No, but I mean, the referee had heard the word before.
Yes, he had.
Well, I don't see how they could really penalise BLOODY if they don't penalise real blasphemy. And players quite often blaspheme and get away with it. Yeah, it's looked a little wide, that one.
Lovely to see the stand so full now. Rafters' third love service game of the match, and we're going along pretty comfortably with serve so far in this third and final set. Still to come tonight, of course, after this, Pete Sampras against Todd Martin, and then tomorrow afternoon we'll be bringing you the night match from tonight, which features young Nicholas Kiefer of Germany against Madavir Washington. Nice to see Mal back, having missed the last 7-8 months of last year with an injury.
Yes, good to have him. Reached the Wimbledon final and virtually hasn't been heard of since.
It's extraordinary. I was looking at his ranking and I had to keep looking and keep looking and keep looking. 276 now.
Yes, is he not still on he would still be on a protected, is he not?
No, he's not. He's
beyond that.
He's beyond that now. He's been granted a wild card in here. He has played a few tournaments this year, and he's now beyond that protected ranking. And what that means is when you've had an injury, you come back and for a certain number of tournaments you get your pre-injury ranking in terms of entry, not in terms of seeding, but in terms of entry. But quite rightly the organisers have given him a wild card. Henrik Drakeman has won the first set against Leighton Hewitt, 6-4. So the two Germans have won the first sets against the two Australians. Drakeman against Hewitt, Haas against Stoltenberg. Tommy Haas, who was flying around in an Air Force jet yesterday, buzzing Andre Agassi. Santa Rosa Mountains.
Rafter looks as if he means business, so it may necessitate a good percentage of first serves in here from Ferreira.
Is it a string gone?
Well, I don't know. He slapped his racket. I don't know whether that caused it, or whether it was just on the return. I think that may have done it.
Well, it would have been cruel if he'd got another net cord winner, but Rafter equal to that.
Once again, the approach to the two-handed side deep gives him a bit more time for the backhand volley, and Ferreira did really well to get up and actually posed Rafter a little bit of a problem here. Not the sort of problem he'd have posed had he played that with his forehand, because he might well have hit a winner. Broken another one, is he? Going through them like Sampras.
Yep, and that one lasted 2 points.
Just as well they've got them finely balanced so that the new racket will feel virtually exactly like the old.
He's got enough rackets there. Ah, Luke Jensen. Dual hand Luke. Well, it's probably his fault for sitting too close to Rafter's bag. He's no doubt doing the sort of courtside impressions for our colleagues from ESPN. Is Luke in the doubles with Murphy?
He is.
But he
was.
Ah, they lost.
They lost to Eagle and Florent, the Australians. 3 long sets. So he's got time on his hands. Well held by the ball kid at mid-wicket.
South Africa beat Pakistan in the end today. Did you notice?
Killed them.
Did they?
Oh, yeah, it's never in doubt. 250 odd runs.
So you scraped a draw in the series. The good old Reuters wires, worth their weight in gold, aren't they? This is up to date with all the sporting news from around the world. Here's number 6. 1 each in this final set. Suddenly Rafter into a period where he's holding serve very comfortably. That's 2 successive love service games for him. And he's ahead once again on serve. 4 games to 3, final set.
The horses are champing at the bit for round 13 of the Volvo World Cup. That could spell bad luck.
Well, the Australians beginning to fight back against the Germans on the outside courts. Jason Stoltenberg has levelled at 1 set all against Tommy Haas, although Haas has apparently broken in the opening game of the final set over Henrik Drakeman as a set-up on Leighton Hewitt. (3-4) Ferreira serving, final set. Well, that's the women's draw, which I don't think we should have seen, but once again, our apologies that we are unable to bring you some terrific women's matches. There's lovely doubles going on later today. Hingis and Lucic, the Australian Open champions, against the Williams sisters, Serena and Venus. But as I've mentioned, we don't have the rights, sadly, to the women's tournament. It's a crazy situation where you have the 2 sexes playing together on the same day, and one company owns one lot and another.
Well, we don't show the men's doubles at the best of times, so we're not likely to show the women's doubles.
5th double, talking of doubles. Exactly 2 hours the match has lasted.
Well, it's almost par for the course. If he doesn't break Ferreira, he tends to lose them in a hurry.
Will they make it in 8 games in this final set through? We've had, what, 6 points against the serve in total?
Yes, they've each lost 3 points. one-way traffic for the servers. And you think, one thinks of Rafter as somebody who serves a lot of aces. He was amongst the top 10 last year, but he actually doesn't serve that many. Remember, he played a tremendous amount of matches and just averaged, in fact, 7 per match.
As Patrick Rafter last year played 94 singles matches. Ferreira played 51, although of course he did miss part of the season through injury. Well, has he made a forehand return tonight?
Yeah. Very few.
He obviously heard me.
Well, he really tried to force the previous one. This one, there was no forcing. It was just a nice bit of timing.
So again, just the 1 point against the serve. And Ferreira will have to come out to serve to stay in the match. 4-5.
Well, his problem is, and Ferreira's problem too, really, is that they just haven't been getting enough returns over the net. It's not necessarily brilliant serving, it's just poor returning. Generally speaking, Ferreira would win a couple more service games on of his opponents than Rafter will. Rafter just got to try now serving ahead, just keep the pressure up by trying to return like people on your screen there. Korda, Kefalnikov, Bjorkman. They're the men to get it back.
Yes, there's the top 10 of the rankings. Richard Krajicek, the only one not here. He's taking a little sabbatical. Will be next playing in Monte Carlo, the third of the Super Nines, towards the end of April. In the meantime, of course, he and his girlfriend Daphne are expecting their first child. You see at the top left of your screen, that's the hotel, the Hyatt Grand Champions, where the players stay. And I'm told, although I've never been lucky enough to be inside, that it's very luxurious inside there. Now then, pressure on Ferreira. Serving 4-5 final set.
First serves one. That's fairly high for Ferreira, but of course it's, as I was saying, poor returning by and large.
Errors coming from the Ferreira forehand, and now Rafter within sight of victory.
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether he chips and charges here, whether he reckons the moment is pressureful enough.
Ferreira really snatching at that. He saw the opportunity. It was a very good second serve. 2 match points. Just a 5th ace. He'd love to find a 6th. Well, would you believe it? Ferreira had all the luck on the net chords until the last point. It would have been a tough volley to make anyway, but there was no chance then. So Patrick Rafter ends a run of 4 successive defeats by Wayne Ferreira, and the 3rd seed becomes the first man to reach the 3rd round.
Quite an achievement really by Rafter, because he didn't play all that well, and generally speaking, when that happens against somebody that owns you, as Ferreira does, chances are that you're going to lose. But just had the advantage of serving ahead in that final set, and I think it has to be said, in the end made some good returns, particularly that 15 all-pointer, really good serve by Ferreira down the middle of the court. Rafter got it back, got the next one back. That's the sort of returning you want to see from the US Open champion.
So it's Gareth Evans with SportsCenter next, and then we'll be back for Pete Sampras against Todd Martin as the world #1 starts his campaign. Lost by the server, and they've all gone on to be breaks. That's another superb smash, because Courier was covering that side of the court.
Figured he might smash there, because that's the serve from that side that he likes and does so well. He just had real power behind it.
And he came back from love 30 to 30 all in his last service game career, but still ended up losing it. So this is the big point. Overcooked it, and it's break point again. Well, credit to Bjorkman, though, for dealing with a little clip on the net.
It's a good deep volley. Had it been shorter, I think Courier would have gone for the forehand, and probably ought to have anyway.
Extraordinary. 5 successive breaks. And Bjorkman will serve for this, for the set and the match.
But I don't think confidence, overconfidence accompanies him at the moment. It doesn't me as I see him prepare. And yet he's not up against a great returner.
5-3, final set. Should have rolled that in, wasn't he?
Well, one of those little volleys that looks pretty easy, but when you consider that he's having problems with his rackets, both with the new racket that he's trying out and his strings, that's the sort of thing that can undo you. Not much pace on the Bjorkman shot. Worked out exactly as he'd hoped. We've all done this, played the short shot, the drop shot, hoping for the opening down the line. Almost a Courier trademark, just as his inside-out forehand is. Of course, that's the perfect accompaniment. Looks as if he's going to hit the big one.
Yes! 2 points to make it 6 successive breaks of serve.
Oh, this is a brilliant point. Both of them playing well. Perhaps Bjorkman not quite enough pace, but he thought he had enough court to hit into there.
He's found the line, would you believe it?
Well, I don't blame Courier for feeling stunned, because I thought he's just waiting for his big inside-out forehand, and sure enough, he exploded with it. And what happens? Bjorkman finds the line.
Well, it's been an amazing final set. It ain't over yet. Yeah, it really is break-back point.
Well, he kept his head, and I think the legacy of Bjorkman playing too many drop volleys early in this match has made him suffer there.
Korea broken a string, so Bjorkman will get a first serve. Deuce, 5-3, final set. Some of the local fans trying to influence the call, but no doubt it was in. And I think the wrong tactics there from Korea, putting up the moon balls. And it's match point for a second time.
Yes, he's got to win these matches these days. Korea can't expect the opponent to continue to always give the points to him.
Bjorkman would love to have that first volley again. 2 match points have come and gone.
Pretty tense stuff out there. You can see the tension reflected in some of the tennis.
Second break-back point. He's taken it. Well, well, well. 6 successive breaks of serve. Korea saves 2 match points. Can he hold serve? Incidentally, our computer in our booth must be a little... Well, Korea serving to draw level, because he's lost his last 3 service games. But the difference, he's won the first point of this game. There's 2 match points from now looking at each other. Oh.
Oh, this is beautiful, almost a reflex shot here.
So the pattern is broken. Courier manages to hold. A love service game to boot. His 5th of the match. And now the pressure swings on to Bjorkman once again, because he's lost his last 3 service games.
And such a good service game, such a very confident one from the word go there by Courier. And you feel he's very much on his toes here and got his teeth into this. We've been wrong so often in this match. Well, a good effort by Courier, but at least in this game, Bjorkman hasn't tried anything fancy. He's gone for the straightforward forehand volley, the straightforward forehand push.
Double fault number 6.
Sort of tennis I half expected in this game from Courier. Using that old sledgehammer of a forehand of his.
Well, he spun the serve in again, but then he summoned up the courage on the approach. Bjorkman's ahead 6-5, final set. Latest from the clubhouse court, Spady is ahead 5-4 and serving for the opening set against Ruzetsky.
Well, we expected, at least I expected, Courier to try and turn on the really power there on the return game. Now, of course, it's up to Bjorkman. So much emphasis now, pressure on the Courier serve, and we've seen Bjorkman just a few times in this match do what I half expected him to do. If Courier Mind you, there's some quality players there.
Oh, yeah.
Enquist, Moya, Medvedev, Muster.
Ollie Rack, last year's runner-up. Asking whether he shouldn't be having new balls, I think. 5-6, final set, trying to force a tiebreak. Really threw that one quickly over to his left, jerked it up. Not a smooth throw up at all. Just a fourth double fault, first of this set. Into double figures in aces.
Well, he's certainly turning on the magic from the serve.
And the match will go the distance into a final set tiebreak.
Korea this year has played 2 tiebreakers, lost them both. Bjorkman's played 5. He's 4-1. And last year, Bjorkman 15 tiebreakers, won 10, lost. Korea 14, won 9, lost.
It's a great start for Korea. All right, the net called, but Bjorkman wouldn't have got it anyway. And 2 strikes with a double-hander.
Yes, I agree. He hit the ball pretty well. It was one of those where he'd have been unlucky had it fallen back on his side. Well, he's resisting the pressure well because he's actually hitting through it. He's using power. He's really well focused, I believe.
The old commentator's curse.
Well, I think he just made a slip, deciding to go to that side of Bjorkman. His aggression I liked, and he should really have used his favorite shot, that into-out forehand away to Bjorkman's backhand side.
Oh, that's a brave shot to play at this time in the match. But he played it well. Maybe committed himself too early there, Korea. Second service ace and 8th ace in all for Bjorkman, and he's come from love 2 down in the tiebreak to lead 3-2. Change hands at 3-all. All right, Fruit, who's your money on?
I ain't got any.
Not even my 10 cents.
Yeah, no inspired guess at all, I'm afraid. I thought Bjorkman would win the third set, but I wasn't so sure going into the tiebreaker. In fact, I think going into the tiebreaker I'd have picked Courier on the form immediately before it.
Certainly serving big now, Courier.
And of course he has an edge because he has advice coming from all quarters. So much for no coaching.